Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. Desmond Tutu. The COVID-19 pandemic is unlike anything we have experienced in our lifetime. Today, Goodwill's work is more important than ever. Last year, Seattle Goodwill provided free job training and education to more than 6,600 people living in the 5 counties we serve. Seattle Goodwill serves King, Kitsap, Snohomish, Skagit, and Whatcom counties. Our work spans far and wide. If someone has the courage to walk through the doors of one of our job training and education centers, we are committed to working with them to create a pathway to success. As we respond to the impacts of COVID-19, we're supporting our students and employees with urgent needs like rent, food, utility bills, and medical care. We're also assisting people dealing with increasing job instability by helping them navigate unemployment, complete job searches, and become work ready. We cannot do this work alone. We need you, our community, now more than ever.
Hi everyone, my name is Daryl Campbell, President and CEO of Seattle Goodwill. Thanks for being here. Before we get started today, I wanted to share a few thoughts with you. The Hope and Health video event that you're about to see was recorded over the last several weeks, and with a focus and emphasis on the impacts that the COVID-19 virus has had on our communities. Since then, of course, last week's tragedy in Minneapolis has once again revealed the effects of a different virus, one that is not new, but has plagued us for centuries. Racism and injustice steals people's dignity, spirit, hope, and sometimes, as we saw last week, it steals their lives. It's hard to comprehend the degree to which so many of our fellow citizens of color live in constant fear. But as we have seen time and again, it's not hard to understand why. As you listen to and watch the stories unfold during this Hope and Health video event, I want you to know that each one of us at Goodwill devotedly serves a mission whose very purpose is to assist the cause of justice for our most vulnerable citizens, many of whom themselves are victims of discrimination and intolerance. Together, our family of employees, students, customers, and you, our steadfast supporters, form a tapestry of beautifully diverse people who love and care for one another in unique and special ways. We advocate for ourselves while we empower one another to do the great work that our community needs us to do. But we know that we must do even more to double down on our commitment to put an end to the hatred and bigotry that we see, to teach others, to learn from others, and to be relentless in pursuit of fairness and equity and justice, even when doing so is not easy or comfortable. We are at our absolute best when we stand together to serve a common goal. Thank you for joining us today, for being here. Thank you for all that you do and all that you will do to bring hope and health to all of the very precious people that we serve. Thanks very much and enjoy the program.
Hi everyone, my name is Amelia Ransom and I'm the board chair for Seattle Goodwill Industries. Thank you so much for joining us for Goodwill's Hope and Health video event. I choose to serve at Goodwill because I know personally that jobs not only change lives, they change generations of lives. Since 1923, Seattle Goodwill has been delivering free job training and education programs and support services to the most vulnerable members of our community in the North Puget Sound region. Last year, Goodwill served more than 6,600 students with classes and training, placed over 1,400 students in jobs with 500 local employers, and delivered more than 26,000 support services. This year, however, has quickly become one of the most challenging ones we've ever faced. The COVID-19 pandemic is much more than just a health crisis. It's a human, economic, and social crisis that is affecting every level of society. No one is untouched, and our most vulnerable neighbors are facing even greater difficulties than before. Early evidence indicates that the health and economic impacts of this virus are disproportionately affecting people living in poverty, people of color, Indigenous people, and our elders. The Goodwill Hope and Health Fund supports Goodwill's mission at this critical time in our community. For our neighbors who are already dealing with challenges like housing security, food instability, and unemployment, Goodwill services are more essential than ever. With job loss on the rise, Goodwill is also helping individuals navigate unemployment, complete job searches, and become job ready. As part of this campaign, we're hosting our first ever video event today to reach our fundraising goal of $125,000. That will allow us to continue providing critically needed services in our community. During the event, you'll hear from Seattle Goodwill's president and CEO, Daryl Campbell. You'll meet Tara Simmons, a former Goodwill student, frontline staff members from Goodwill's Job Training and Education Department will also share the work they're doing with both students and employees. And finally, you'll meet Daniel, a former Goodwill student and now WorkSource Computer Lab assistant. Once you've met all of today's special guests, I will ask for your help to reach our goal of $125,000 in support of this Hope and Health Fund campaign. Before we get started, I'd like to give a heartfelt thank you to our leading partners. Thank you for supporting Goodwill. Joining us right now is Seattle Goodwill's president and CEO, Daryl Campbell. Welcome, Daryl.
Thank you, Amelia, and hello, friends of Goodwill. My name is Daryl Campbell, and I am the president and CEO at Seattle Goodwill. Thank you for joining us for Goodwill's Hope and Health event. This is a challenging time for all of us. At Goodwill, we share your deep concerns about the impact coronavirus is having on our community. We are committed to getting through this crisis together with the health and safety of everyone as our top priority. You know, when I came to Seattle Goodwill almost 6 years ago, after a career in higher education, I was excited to join this incredible organization and help take our work to the next level. I'm passionate about helping people who are ready to work hard and find success. People like Goodwill's students. Since 2014, Goodwill has served over 50,000 individuals and placed more than 10,000 into jobs and on to higher education. The work we do here is incredibly important, not only to the people we serve, but to their families and to our entire community. The power of work changes lives. Jobs change lives. And to me, there's nothing more inspiring than helping others realize their dreams. During this difficult time, the need is greater than it has ever been. And we at Goodwill will continue to be here, serving others to help them get the skills and the education they need so that they can make a difference in their community. COVID-19 has had a very significant impact on Goodwill. In compliance with Governor Inslee's Stay Home, Stay Healthy order, and for the safety and the well-being of Goodwill employees, students, and customers, I made the decision to close Goodwill's 24 nonprofit thrift stores and 41 donation centers on March 19th. Closing our business meant that we also had to place more than 2,000 of our staff on standby in early April. This was one of the most difficult decisions that I've ever had to make. Similarly, Goodwill's 5 job training and education centers closed for in-person services, but our team quickly started to develop plans so that we could serve our students and employees through remote and virtual services, and we're doing that still today. Closing the stores also greatly decreased the revenue that's available to support our job training and education programs and support services. At Goodwill, we've responded to this crisis by doing what we do best. We stick to the heart of our mission, Our dedicated job training and education staff are working tirelessly to support both our students and employees while they're on standby. Not all of our students have access to reliable technology at home, so we've deployed 100 Wi-Fi enabled tablets to ensure that all students have the connectivity that they need to communicate, get connected to Goodwill programs, contact prospective employers, and access other community resources that they rely on during this difficult time. In addition to the many ways we're supporting students and employees, we're also doing everything we can to support the greater community. To date, Goodwill has delivered over 700,000 pieces of PPE to Seattle responders and frontline workers. Goodwill needs financial support from our community more than ever. As the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic continue to grow, the cost of responding to our neighbors with employment and support services will soon exceed our available resources. Goodwill utilizes the proceeds from our thrift stores combined with contributions from corporations, government entities, and individuals like you to support our free programs. Today, we need you more than ever to help us provide hope and health in our region by supporting our job training and education programs and support services. With your help, we know we can continue to deliver our mission because jobs change lives. I'm happy to introduce team members from our Job Training and Education Department. Let's hear from these amazing people doing critical work.
The key concern that I am hearing students as well as employees communicate about is how will the workplace differ now that COVID-19 is here, and how will we employ social distancing?
During this time of isolation and separation, it's important for our students and employees' mental health to have someone that they can talk to.
It has been a little difficult to stay connected, but just using the phone, email, Zoom, and for my students who are still incarcerated, we're able to correspond through the mail and through video visits, which are like Skype. I am able to stay connected and continue to support them with whatever their needs are. And if Goodwill can't and I cannot, then we reach out to other community resources till we find the support they need.
We've been able to support by connecting them to community resources, connecting them to government resources, and even providing financial support when we're able. So your continued support of our programs allows us to keep doing this work so we can make sure people stay housed, make sure they access their unemployment benefits, make sure they have access to things like food and utility assistance and clothing and a safe environment for them and their children. We appreciate your support and we need it to keep doing this work. Thanks.
The work that our job training and education team just shared with you is just a glimpse of the broad spectrum of programming and resources that Goodwill is providing to help our neighbors. Up next, I want to introduce you to Tara Simmons. Tara is a former Goodwill student, a lawyer, a civil rights activist, and a national leader in the fight for criminal justice reform. We're so fortunate to have her joining us now to talk more about Goodwill and her hope for the future.
Hi, my name is Tara Simmons, and I'm an attorney, a mom, a wife, and the director of the Civil Survival Project. I was incarcerated after overcoming significant adverse childhood experiences, being born to parents who suffered with substance use disorder and mental illness, being exposed to violence, going through foster care, and becoming a mom at 14 years old when I was homeless. So my life has not always been what it is today. So when I was incarcerated, I saw a flyer for the Goodwill program, for the pre-release program. And at that particular moment in time, I was really worried about what was I going to do when I was released from prison. And so when I saw the flyer, I said, why not? I need help and I don't know where else to go. So I was really, really grateful that Goodwill was able to come into the prison and provide these services that are so needed for vulnerable populations such as incarcerated people. We have an unprecedented number of people that are unemployed right now, and there's going to be a huge need for retraining and for services and support around resume writing, around figuring out how to frame your past experiences into maybe new sectors of employment and learning how to create resumes that really talk to transferable skills in order to meet new demands as we shift through this crisis and find out what kinds of new jobs are essential and what kinds of jobs might go away for a while. And Goodwill intentionally supports people who are, most impacted and most vulnerable populations. So, survivors of domestic violence, people who speak English as a second language, people experiencing homelessness, people re-entering from incarceration, or people that have conviction history. It's a lot of people in our state that fall into those kind of marginalized identities and struggle with finding employment. And Goodwill invests in those individuals like me, and really helps us find jobs that, again, will impact our families in significant ways. So right now is a really good time to give to Goodwill. It is relevant to this moment in time in history where we are experiencing a crisis. So please do find it in your heart to give to Goodwill. Continue to invest in their services, which leave ripple effects throughout our communities.
Up next, I'd like to introduce you to Daniel. His story illustrates the potential of every individual and how jobs truly do change lives.
After I left the Army, my drug use became more important than maintaining an apartment, and I was homeless off and on. After I left the Army, I was kind of paranoid, so I did a lot of walking around. I dressed up in old Army uniforms, and I had an Army backpack, and it had all my clothes and possessions that I had at the time was in that backpack. And if I was a trouble to the police, then instead of sending me to jail, they would send me to the psych ward. In January of 2009, they found a medication that took away the voices and helped realign my thinking. And I was able to stay sober since January of 2009. In 2016, someone told me about Goodwill, that they had job training classes available. So I registered for basic computer. After that, I took Word. I finished all the classes and took up an opportunity to volunteer here at Goodwill as a computer lab assistant.
We have people, they're walking in off the street every day looking for help. We wanted somebody who could identify with that individual, and that was Daniel.
I had taken all the classes I could possibly take, and I was given a job offer.
Daniel's story is very cool. His ascent from being a student to volunteer to permanent employee.
It was the first time that I've been able to make ends meet. At Goodwill Job Training and Education, I really care about helping people with resume writing and cover letter writing, helping people find jobs. Jobs change lives because they give you hope out of hopelessness. My name is Daniel, and I am a computer lab assistant here at Goodwill.
Our goal is to raise $125,000 to support the Hope and Health Fund and our partners who've helped us get part of the way there already. Now, let me share with you how your gift can help change a life. A gift of $50 could provide a health screening for one of our students. $100 allows us to provide food cards for 10 students. $250 helps us secure hygiene kits for 5 students. $500 could provide a monthly bus pass for 10 students who are essential workers. $1,000 allows us to provide utility assistance for 10 students. And $5,000 can provide housing support for 5 students. Your financial support provides hope and a brighter future for our neighbors. During this challenging time, it's so inspiring to see our community come together in support of our collective health and well-being. On behalf of everyone at Goodwill, thank you so much for your support. Take care, stay safe, and stay healthy.